You're a burden, my sister said, loud enough for the whole table. We want to live without you. Fork scraped. A cousin snorted. Move out. I stared at her. Say that again. She smiled. Leave. Mom looked down at her water. Elena, there's something you need to hear. I'm Elena, 28. I work as a medical assistant at a community clinic. Double shifts. Rubber saws, bright hallways, little plastic cups of pills. I'm the middle kid. The one who knows where the spare keys are. The one who makes the grocery list and remembers Mom's meds. After Dad passed, I moved back into the small 2-bedroom with my older sister, Tessa, and my younger brother, Mark. We told ourselves it was temporary. We told ourselves we were saving money. Tessa and Mark handled the rent through a family discount. I covered the utilities and the groceries. I paid for Mom's prescriptions when her coverage lagged and the pharmacy clerk frowned at the screen. Didn't mind the quiet jobs. I didn't mind the cheap cereal or the squeaky fan or the broken cabinet hinge. I had a plan. I was paying off the debt from my certificate program. I was saving for a full nursing degree. I made charts no one asked for. I kept receipts. I kept doing the work no one wanted to see. I wasn't rich or glamorous. I didn't have fancy pictures on my feed. But I had something they didn't expect: discipline, receipts, and a plan. If you know that feeling being underestimated, subscribe. This community listens. Tell me your story. I'll read it. The dinner was at a modest spot on the corner, the kind with sticky menus and salsa in plastic cups. I came straight from the clinic. My scrubs still smelled like soap and hand gel. I could feel sweat drying on my back from the bus ride. Tessa and Mark were already there with 2 cousins, an aunt and Mom. No plate was set for me. The waitress hovered, confused, holding a menu. Should I add one more? She asked. Tessa waved her off with 2 fingers. We're good. I stood. There, my bag still on my shoulder. I'm late, not invisible. A cousin giggled into his phone. Awkward, I sat anyway. I sat on the edge of the chair. My name wasn't on the little paper place cards they'd made as a joke. Tessa smiled wide. We've talked, she said. Bright and cruel. You're dragging us down. We want to live without you. Mark leaned back. You eat our food. You hog our space. You never pay rent on time. I stared at him. I pay the utilities. I buy the groceries. I pick up Mom's meds when the insurance stalls. I sent you both the receipts, every month. Tessa rolled her eyes. You want a medal for basic adulting? Not at the table, our aunt muttered, looking at her bread plate. Kids, not at the... Tessa slid an envelope across the bread basket. The paper was thick and too white. You'll love this, she said. It's a voluntary move-out agreement. 7 days should be enough. The waitress came back and put a glass of water in front of me like she was placing a candle at a vigil. My cousin whispered, "This is wild," and lifted his phone a little higher. We talked to the landlord, Tessa said. It's handled. I pushed the envelope back. No, she shrugged. Don't make a scene. You just made it, I said. So sign, she said. Or we'll do it our way. Mom's throat worked. She didn't look up. Elena, she said softly, just hear her out. I'm hearing it, I said. I'm hearing that I've kept the fridge full and the lights on and somehow I'm trash. Tessa smirked. If the shoe fits, I didn't sign anything. I folded the envelope in half and slid it into my bag. I'm not signing. I'm going home, I said. Good, Tessa said. You should start packing. The next morning, my key didn't work. It slid in and stuck. I twisted, nothing. I looked at the peephole. It stayed dark. Behind the door, I heard muffled laughter and a chair scoot. My own doormat said, "Welcome," in faded blue letters. It felt like a joke. The first betrayal was small and mean, the kind that hides in plain sight. When I finally got someone to buzz me in and I reached our floor, my shelf in the shared pantry was empty. The bins I had labeled with painter's tape were gone. The jar of rice I kept in the back, the stack of canned soup, the cheap olive oil gone. The fridge hummed, full of other food. A group photo pinned my phone from the family chat. Sunday. Brunch without me. The caption said, family time. No plate for me, no seat, no reply to my text. I texted anyway. Did you toss my food? Mark replied first. We cleaned. Tessa added, we needed space. For food you don't. Pay for? I typed. Then deleted it. I sent, please don't touch my stuff. No one answered. The second betrayal was loud. Kessa posted a status. Funny how some adults think paying a light bill is rent. Weech behavior. She didn't tag me. She didn't have to. People liked it. A few left laughing emojis. One aunt commented, some people never launch. My chest got tight. My face felt hot and then cold. Mark reposted it with, grow up, move out. I typed a reply. I deleted it. I watched the dots. I set my phone face down on the table at the clinic. My coworker, Jazz, looked over. You okay? Yeah, I said. I'm good. Your eyes are red, she said. I'm fine, I said. I'm just tired. The third betrayal slid in with a final notice subject line. An email from the utility company. Past due. The account was in my name. It had been in my name for months. I scrolled down and saw the request date. 4 months ago, my stomach dropped. I remembered Tess's text from that time. Can you move the bill into your name? For now, we'll switch it back. I had said yes. I had thought, sure, I'm better at deadlines. Now it was my credit on the line, and I didn't even have a key to our door. I called Tessa. She didn't answer. I called Mark. He sent it to voicemail. I called the landlord's office. The receptionist said, he's out. Do you have a message? Someone changed the locks, I said. I'm on the lease as an occupant. I didn't get notice. Please. Email, she said, and read me the address like she had already read it to 5 people that day. That first night, I slept on Jazz's couch. Her apartment smelled like coffee and lemon cleaner. She gave me a thin blanket and a spare pillow. I can't sleep on the floor, I told her. Shut up and sleep, she said. We'll figure it out. I worked my shifts. I kept my hands steady with blood pressure cuffs and pill cups while my head felt like a balloon. After work, I sat at her small table and pulled out my laptop. I took screenshots of text. I downloaded my bank statements, utility payments, grocery runs, pharmacy charges under Mom's name when her insurance stalled, line after line. I printed what I could at the clinic during slow hours, careful to tuck the pages out of sight. I filed a police non-emergency report online to document the lockout. I wrote, my siblings changed the locks without notice. I have belongings inside. I got a case number. It felt thin but real. I texted the landlord for a copy of the lease. I wrote, I need to confirm my status. I looked up free tenant clinics. I saw dates and flyers with tiny print. I circled one. Wednesday night. It felt far away, between bites of cheap noodles. I promised myself I wouldn't fight online. No subtweets. No comments. I wanted to scream. I wanted to post every receipt. I wanted to drag their names through glass. I closed the apps. I charged my phone. I set an alarm. I slept with one shoe still on. 2 mornings later, another email hit my inbox. Immediate action required. It said, if I didn't pay by Friday, the utility would report to collections. My insides went cold. I was at the bus stop, holding my bag tight to my chest. The bus roared past and kicked dust into my face. I wiped my eyes and couldn't tell if it was grit or tears. What they didn't know was, I had been keeping records long before any of this. At the clinic, if I didn't log a dose, it didn't happen. If I didn't timestamp it, it didn't count. That habit came home with me. I had a folder on my laptop named House. It looked boring. Inside, it held months of bank transfers to utility companies. Grocery invoices I took photos of with receipts pinned to date and time. Pharmacy bills with Mom's name masked by. My thumb in the picture, but the date's clear. I had Tessa's old texts. Thank you for fronting the bills until we catch up. I had Mark's. We'll split it next month, I swear. I had all the little promises that turned to dust. I also had a neighbor, Ms. Ortega, 3rd floor, hair rolled in pink curlers at all hours. A sharp eye. She had slipped me a message once when I brought her mail by accident. You're the one who always holds the elevator for me, she'd said. You're the good one. Now she messaged me. I saw the locksmith last week. Your sister asked him to rush it. He said, tenant needs to approve. She said, I am. Miss Ortega said she would tell someone official if needed. She didn't like mess, but she liked fairness more. On Wednesday night, I went to the tenants' rights workshop in a church basement that smelled like coffee and damp sweaters, folding chairs. A whiteboard with a marker that squeaked. A volunteer. Explained in simple words. Where we live, you can't change locks without proper notice. You can't deny access to someone listed on the lease as an occupant. You can't switch utilities into someone's name without their consent. People raised hands and told worse stories. I listened. I took notes. On my way out, a man handed me a flyer. "I'm Mr. Lopez," he said. "We can help you write a demand letter. Bring your proof." I had proof. Mr. Lopez sat with me the next evening at a long table in a small office that smelled like old paper. He had kind eyes and ink on his fingers. He looked through my stack without rushing. He nodded at my timelines. He circled dates. He said, "You've done half my job already." "I'm not a lawyer," I said. "You don't need to be one." "To tell the truth," he said. He laid out the plan. We'd send a demand letter. We'd request reentry or supervised retrieval of my belongings. We'd ask for compensation for the lock change if needed. Calm. Precise. He reminded me not to argue in texts. "Facts only," he said. "No heat." I emailed the landlord again and asked for the lease addendum. He replied with a PDF. My name was right there. Approved occupant with rights to notice. I printed it and added it to the top of my pile. I made a simple timeline with dates of payments, screenshots of thank you messages, and the exact day the lock change confirmed by Miss Ortega's message, and a timestamp photo of the locksmiths. Then she'd taken by habit. She said she would sign a statement. I wrote her name on a sticky note and stuck it to the edge of my stack. Meanwhile, Tessa got louder. "All cleaned up?" she wrote in the group chat. "No more freeloading." Mark? Sent 2 days, or I'm tossing all that extra stuff. What extra stuff? I typed, then deleted. I wrote, "Please don't discard my belongings." He sent a thumbs up. I listened to a voice memo from Ms. Ortega on my lunch break. Tessa's voice caught in a hallway echo saying, "Once her credit tanks, she stopped acting superior." It wasn't perfect evidence, but it showed intent like a flashlight dot. My hands shook when I made the call to the landlord's office. I asked for a meeting. "I want to handle it privately," I said. "Just us, please." He agreed, maybe because he didn't want it messy. Maybe because my email had attachments he didn't want to ignore. We set it for Friday afternoon, in his small office above the laundromat. I labeled my packet, payments and proof. I slid it into a cheap binder. I didn't sleep much the night before. I watched the ceiling fan wobble and counted the seconds between clicks. Friday felt like swallowing a stone. The landlord's office was cramped, with a plant that hadn't been watered and a calendar from last year. The window looked over a row of washing machines. Tessa came in wearing sunglasses like someone might take her picture. Mark came in behind her, arms folded, chin up. Mr. Lopez sat next to me with a yellow legal pad and a pen that clicked too. Loud in the quiet, the landlord cleared his throat. "Let's just keep this civil," he said. "Sure," Tessa said. "We're just here to make it official. She's leaving." I opened my binder. I moved slowly. "Here's the timeline," I said. "Here are my bank transfers for utilities each month." I slid the pages across the desk. "Here are my grocery receipts. Look at the totals. $380, $412, $505. I pushed forward the pharmacy bills. "Here are the times I covered moms. Meds when the insurance lagged." Tessa snorted. "She never paid rent. None of that is rent." "We agreed I'd cover utilities and food," I said. "You said it yourself." I turned to a printed text. I read it aloud. "Can you move the bill into your name for now? We'll switch it back." Tessa's mouth went thin. "That's out of context." I slid over the lease addendum. "Here's the PDF with my name as an approved occupant. I didn't get notice of lock change. Here's the date the locks were changed." I tapped the timestamp. "And here's a neighbor willing to send a statement that she saw the locksmith and heard." "You approve it?" The landlord's eyebrows rose a little. He leaned forward. He read the lease. He flipped a few pages. "I see." Mr. Lopez placed a letter on the desk. "This is a demand letter," he said in a calm voice. "Unlawful lockout. Unauthorized utility switching. Denial of access to personal property. We request immediate key restoration. Compensation for the lock change and scheduled supervised retrieval if she chooses to move out. And we're asking for her share of the security deposit if she opts to leave." Mark laughed once, hard. "A share?" She's joking. I'm not, I said. And this isn't a joke. Tessa's voice got louder. She's been living off us. I've been feeding us, I said. I've been keeping the lights on. I've been carrying the bills when you said you'd pay me back. I have the messages. I have the proof. Mark's eyes went down to the papers like they might bite him. He rubbed his jaw. He looked at Tessa. The landlord picked up the letter. He read it slowly, his lips moving. He put it down. Changing the locks was not okay, he said. Not without notice. Not with her name on the addendum. You have to give her access. Today. Tessa flinched. She needs to go. That's not how this works, the landlord said, sharper now. If she chooses to leave, it has to be on proper terms. There will be a supervised time for her to get her things. And if she's contributed, we will discuss her share of the deposit according to the agreement. Mr. Lopez clicked his pen once. We're not here to fight, he said. We're here to correct. Tessa glared at me. You're dramatic. I'm tired, I said. There's a difference. She crossed her arms. You always thought you were better. I thought we were a team, I said. The landlord looked at Tessa and Mark. Keys, he said. Tessa took off her sunglasses and put them on the desk like she could change the subject by changing her face. This is ridiculous, she said. Keys, the landlord repeated. Mark sighed and pulled a key from his pocket. Tessa fumbled in her bag and dropped a ring on the table. It clinked. The sound was tiny and huge at the same time. The landlord slid one key toward me. Access is restored, he said. We'll schedule a supervised time for retrieval if needed. Mr. Lopez handed over a contact card. If this isn't respected, he said, we escalate. Tessa stared at me. So what now? You gonna move your piles back in? I looked at the key. I looked at my hands. I'm going to pack, I said. On my terms. Her mouth twisted. Finally, she said. Finally, I said back, but it felt different in my mouth. My voice didn't shake. I put the key in my pocket. It was warm from her hand. Back at the apartment, with the landlord standing by the door and Mr. Lopez watching like a quiet guardian, I moved fast. I boxed my clothes. I packed my birth certificate, my diploma, the little plant I kept by the window that leaned toward light. I taped up my folders and stacked my receipts in the binder. I grabbed the cheap olive oil I'd replaced in my rice jar. I pulled my photos from the fridge. I found the envelope from dinner, still folded, and put it in the trash. Tessa hovered in the hallway. Don't take my mug, she snapped, pointing at a chipped piece of porcelain with a city skyline on it. It's yours, I said. Keep it? Mom stood by her bedroom door, hands shaking. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't know it would go like this. I know, I said. I love you. I love you too, she said. She didn't look at Tessa or Mark. She looked at me. It didn't take long. It still took forever. I carried the last box out to Jazz's car. She had shown up like a hero, messy bun, keys in her hand. I'm your moving company, she said. 5-star reviews only. Paid in coffee? I said. Always, she said. We drove to a small studio a bus ride from the clinic. It smelled like fresh paint and empty. I loved it on site. The windows didn't fit right in the frames. The sink made a hollow sound when you tapped it. The floor had a scratch that looked like a river. I set my boxes down and sat on one. I set up autopay for my own utilities so my name would be on. Something that was mine. I called the utility company with Mr. Lopez's letter open in front of me. I explained the switch date and the consent issue. The woman on the line listened. She put me on hold. When she came back, she said, "We'll remove the late fee pending review." It wasn't everything. It was something. A week later, the landlord billed Tessa and Mark for the improper lock change. He saved me. The subject line said, "Lease, violation repair." It was dry. It was delicious. The family chat went quiet. Tessa deleted the leech post. A cousin took down the laughing face. An aunt sent me a private message. "I'm sorry I didn't speak up." I typed back, "Thank you," and left it at that. I focused on my life. I took my nursing prerequisites. At night, I made flashcards and taped them above my sink. I cooked simple food in a small pan. I hung a cheap curtain and a string of soft lights. I slept without keeping one shoe on. I saw Mom twice a week. I didn't go in the apartment. I brought her care packages. Fruit, tea, soft socks, the lotion she liked that smelled like oatmeal. We sat on the bench outside our building. We talked about the weather. We talked about the neighbor's cat. We didn't talk about the lock. Some nights, I heard the old tape start to play in my head. You're a burden, you're a burden. I turned on the sink and let the water run until it changed temperature. I turned off my phone. I lay on the floor and watched the scratch that looked like a river. I thought about work. I thought about people who said thank you with their eyes. I thought about Mr. Lopez's ink-stained hands and Miss Ortega's curlers and Jazz's bright laugh. For once, their silence didn't hurt me. It freed me. I finally understood I never needed their approval. If you've ever had to prove your worth to people who doubted you, I want to hear it. Where are you watching from? Drop it in the comments. Your voice matters here. Tell me what you did when they pushed you aside. Tell me what proof you held tight. If this story helped you stand a little straighter, hit subscribe. There's room here for your voice, your receipts, your plan. We're building a place where we don't need their permission to be enough.